Welcome. In pretty much any modern company, there's this constant tug of war, right? How do you squeeze every drop of value out of your technology without letting all the risks run wild? Well, today we're going to demystify the one framework designed to do exactly that. We're talking about COBIT.
So let me start with a really direct question. Just think about your own workplace for a second. Is your IT team a real strategic partner? Someone who's actively creating value? Or, if you're being honest, does it sometimes feel like a total black box? A source of risk, crazy costs, and just confusion. This is the core problem so many businesses are wrestling with. And hey, this isn't some tiny niche issue we're talking about. Get this. According to the Society for Information Management, for 5 out of the last 6 years, the number one top-of-the-list concern for senior executives has been getting IT and the business on the same page. That tells you everything. This isn't just an IT problem, it's a massive business problem. So, how do we fix it? Here's the game plan for today. We'll start by digging into what I call the Great Divide. Then we'll introduce COBIT as the framework that builds the bridge. We'll check out the latest version, see how it works in the real world, and finally, talk about how you can actually build a governance system for yourself. All right, first up, this gap. It's that chasm that opens up when the business leaders are pointing in one direction and the IT department is marching in another. This disconnect, this misalignment, it's not just annoying, it is incredibly costly. We're talking wasted money, wasted time, and huge missed opportunities. What we're all shooting for, of course, is this: business IT alignment. It's the dream scenario, right? That perfect state where technology isn't just a cost center or a support team, but a powerful engine that's pushing the whole organization towards its goals. That's the Holy Grail. And this visual just nails it. This is the whole point of COBIT. It's designed to be a bridge over that great divide. It creates a common language, a shared playbook, so that everybody, from the CEO down to the person fixing your laptop, is speaking the same language and pulling in the same direction. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, that big divide, and we know the goal is alignment. So now let's get into the tool that actually builds that bridge: COBIT. It's the governance framework that's all about setting the right direction for your technology. So what is COBIT really? Well, the formal name is Control Objectives for Information and Related Technology. But honestly, you can just think of it as a master translator. It's a framework that bridges the gap between all the technical jargon, the real-world business risks, and what actually needs to get done to succeed. Now pay close attention to this word, governance. This is so important. We're not just talking about day-to-day management. Governance is the high-level, big-picture stuff. It's about figuring out what everyone actually needs, setting the overall strategy, and then, and this is key, monitoring everything to make sure you're actually getting there. And this right here is maybe the most crucial distinction in the whole framework. Think of it like this. Governance asks, are we sailing to the right island? It's all about choosing the destination. Management asks, are we sailing the ship correctly? It's about trimming the sails and managing the crew to get to that island. COBIT brilliantly separates these two concepts. The whole system is built on these 6 core principles. You can see things like focusing on stakeholder needs, taking a wide, holistic view, and of course, what we just talked about, separating governance from management. These are the foundational pillars that let you build a system that's tailored perfectly for you. You know, technology moves at lightning speed, and guess what? So does COBIT. This isn't some ancient text collecting dust on a shelf. Oh no, it's a living, breathing framework that's constantly evolving to keep up with the challenges of our digital world. And you can see that evolution right here. I mean, look at this. It started way back in '96, just looking at IT audits. Fast forward to 2012, and it's swallowing up other big frameworks. And now, with COBIT 2019, the whole game is about being flexible and ready for whatever new tech comes next. Here's a cool little detail I love. See the logo for COBIT 2019? Notice that little red arrow inside the O? That was put there on purpose. It's a symbol for this idea of constant evolution. And get this, the organization behind COBIT has even moved to an open source model, letting the whole community suggest updates. For a governance framework, that is a huge deal. So what actually changed from the last version? This table gives us a fantastic snapshot. We went from 5 principles to 6, added a few more processes, but the big one, the game changer, is that new row, design factors. We're going to dive into those in a bit. The main takeaway is that the new version gives you much more specific, actionable guidance. Okay, enough theory. We've talked about what it is and why it exists. Now for the most important question. So what? How does actually using COBIT lead to real, tangible results that you can see and measure? Check this number out. It's pretty wild. COBIT 2019 has 10 times more connections to other standards and frameworks than the old version. What that means is it's become this central hub, this orchestra conductor. It doesn't try to replace everything else. It helps you make sense of it all. A perfect example of this is its relationship with ITIL, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. They're not fighting for the same turf. They're partners. COBIT sets the high-level strategy, the what we need to do. Then ITIL comes in with the nitty-gritty details of the how for managing IT services. They fit together like puzzle pieces. And here's the proof in the pudding. Don't just take my word for it. In a case study of a bank that put COBIT into practice, these are the benefits they saw. They cut their audit risks, made their financial systems way more reliable, beefed up security, and even boosted customer confidence. These aren't just IT wins. These are real business victories. And that brings us to our last and honestly most important section. COBIT is not a rigid set of rules you have to follow to the letter. It's not a straitjacket. It is a flexible, powerful toolkit that you are meant to customize and make your own. And the magic key to all that customization is this concept we mentioned earlier, design factors. These are basically the variables that you need to consider to figure out what kind of governance system your company specifically needs. And these factors are things you're already thinking about. What's our company's main strategy? What's our appetite for risk? What kind of threats are we facing? What regulations do we have to follow? By looking at these things, you can fine-tune COBIT to focus on what matters most to you. And if you wanted to start this journey tomorrow, it's not some big mystery. There's a clear 6-step path to follow. You start by figuring out where you are today, you define where you want to go, you build a roadmap, and then you start executing, all while keeping an eye on your progress and constantly getting better.
So there you have it. COBIT gives you the map, it gives you the common language, and it gives you the tools to finally build that bridge between your business goals and your technology. The only question left is, how are you currently governing your most critical asset, your information? And what are you going to do about it? Thanks for tuning in.